Lyndsay Rowley is an Emmy Award-winning broadcaster on Nashville Predators broadcasts. If you're like us and you've watched a lot of Preds games on NHL Center Ice, she will not be a stranger to your screens. Lyndsay, welcome to the RP Show today. How are things in Smashville?
They're good. As far as hockey goes, they're great. But looking at your backdrop is really making me jealous because it's freaking cold here right now. And I get to hop on a plane to Buffalo in about an hour, which is just going to be tropical. So I am super jealous of you right now.
Well, it is what it is. You know, the last time I was in Nashville, I was like, man, I can't believe how cold it gets here. You think being in the South that it would be warmer. Are you a Southern gal? What is your hometown, by the way?
Actually, no. So you would think I would have thicker skin, but I've been down here so long. I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, and actually lived in Manhattan for a little bit. So, you know, I bounced around. I did go to school in North Carolina, so that made me a little bit more of a wimp. Bounced around a bunch, but ended up in Nashville, and now I'm like a full-blown wimp. But I'm telling you, it just gives me whiplash here. Like, it was 70 degrees yesterday. I just took my dog out. It's like 40 degrees. It's killing me.
Well, listen, I'm going to get to the actual hockey stuff in a second, but
good idea.
I saw you with Crispy on the concourse the last time I was there. I didn't want to bother you guys. Crispy came on this.
Oh, you should.
That was my old show, actually. Yeah, we were at Losers Sports Bar. We did our. I was doing a radio show back then, and Crispy came down. What is it like working with this gem of a human being on a game-by-game basis, Terry Crisp?
Oh my goodness. I wouldn't even know how much time you got. It's amazing. It's entertaining. I've learned a lot about hockey and life. In an inappropriate standpoint and an appropriate standpoint. Crispy and I always joke that we have a really messed up father-daughter, brother-sister relationship. It's always really funny because whenever I always feel like at some point I've got like a leash on him, like on the desk, because he always makes jokes that I slap him a lot, but I don't hit him that hard. But no, we have a lot of fun, and I really, on a more serious note, I've learned so much from him. Him and his wife have really taken me in, and kind of when I moved down here and become my second family. Not that, I mean, shoot, the whole broadcast team has become my second family, but them in particular have become really close to me. And oh my gosh, I joke a lot about it, but I really have no idea how I'm going to be able to keep it together when that last show comes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, don't think about it. Don't think about it. But I can tell it's hard keeping it together now because he keeps everybody in stitches. So to hockey, a lot of fun this year following the Preds. I'm going to ask you about Tanner Jeannot in a second because he's from basically our hometown. But every game seems like a playoff game. Am I right on that? The holders of a wild card playoff spot as we sit here today?
Oh, absolutely. Every game so important. I was about to say a point's a point, so I combined them. Important. A point's a point. And that's something I think that is going to be tough through the rest of the season. And not just for the Preds, for any of those teams that are right there battling, whether it's Dallas, Vegas, St. Louis, even Minnesota. I think it's going to be difficult because even last night was a great game, but we've faced two teams in a row now who are completely out of a playoff picture and are just there to play spoiler and yet have given us a run for our money. So I think, especially having a young team, that's going to be the challenge down the stretch. A lot of the guys on our team have never played an 82-game season. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they hold up so far. Perfect example, you mentioned Tanner Jeannot. So far has not phased him at all. Guys like Phil Tomasino, Alex Carrier, even Dante Fabro, who's been around for a minute. Of course, right now Dante is hurt, but hopefully getting him back soon. You know, his first true season was during COVID. So I think I'm pretty sure this is his first season going start to finish in an 82 game run. So we'll see. Hopefully the guys, I know the trainers are doing the best they can, the coaches, to prepare these younger players to be able to have that endurance and be able to keep their game at that high level for that long. But I think it's going to be tough for any team, like I said, in this position, but especially a young team, to make sure that they're taking every game as hard as they would. Like, for example, we're playing Minnesota on Tuesday, but you can't overlook Buffalo. Buffalo's out of a playoff picture, but that doesn't matter. 2 points are 2 points. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Preds can stay consistent in that high level of play, whether they're playing, a Minnesota, a Colorado, or a Buffalo or a Philly.
Lyndsay Rowley with us from Bally Sports Nashville Predators broadcast. I got to ask you this. Jusse Saros getting some consideration for the Vezina trophy. And when Pekka Rinne announced his retirement, I kind of wondered, is this a problem for the Preds? But I guess Saros had other ideas. It seems like he came out of nowhere, but clearly he did not come out of nowhere.
No, you're right. I trust me, you were not the only one. A lot of people had those questions whether Jusse Saros was going to be able to uphold the standard that Pekka Rinne left, because he's one of the best goaltenders in NHL history. But I think Jusse, him and Pekka had a very close relationship. We joked it was, father son, but it was more brothers, especially having the same native homeland. But he really learned a lot from Pekka, and I think a lot of people questioned not necessarily Jusse's work ethic or his mechanics, because his mechanics are, in my opinion, the best in the league. But he makes up for his size with his mechanics. And everybody was questioning, oh my gosh, he's too small to be this great, dominating goaltender. And he has proven the entire world, NHL world, wrong. Last year, towards the end of the season, he really stepped up, and we got to see a glimpse. And I think a lot of people said, well, will he be able to keep that up once there is no Pekka Rinne pushing him anymore? And this season, as we've all seen, he has been outstanding. He's the backbone of this team. I mean, 2 games ago, he didn't have the best showing, and a lot of naysayers, I guess you could say, were saying, oh, he's too tired. The Preds have rode him so hard. And then he comes out and has an unreal game last game. And you ask any guy on that team in every interview, they were like, the reason we won was Jusse Saros. He was incredible, really. What was the number one reason for the win, in my opinion. So I think that Jusse's not going anywhere. I think he's going to keep that standard high, and he's going to be a big reason as to why the Preds hopefully make a dent in the playoffs.
We only have a minute. I just want to ask you, have you interviewed Tanner Jeannot? Have you been around him? Again, we're big fans. I watched him with the Moose Jaw Warriors. Tell me something we would want to know about Tanner Jeannot with the Predators this year.
Well, maybe something you wouldn't expect. He's actually pretty quiet. He's very nice, and not that you expect him to be a mean guy or anything like that, but he's such like I almost cussed there, a dominant factor on the ice. And you've seen him fight. Gosh, the fight where he was a dad for the first time and he got the Gordie Howe hat trick, that was incredible. That was probably the best I've seen him in a fight, and he's been great all season long. But yeah, very polite, very quiet. In interviews, it's hard to get a lot out of him just because he's very soft-spoken, and just like any other hockey player, especially young ones, wants to say the team first, all of this. But he really is such a great guy. We're really happy for him and his fiancée, Keely, having their first son healthy. Him and Keely are both doing really well. And gosh, the fun story, I don't know if you guys got to hear this, but when the night we were in Vegas, he's warming up. It was 6:35, I think. And Brandon Walker, our travel guy, comes running out and tells Tanner, hey, Keely's in labor. I guess he goes running down the hallway. He's falling all over the place, getting it in his skates, taking his gear off, running down the hall. And by 8:15, he was on a flight. The doctor did talk to him before he got in the air and said, you're going to make it. Don't worry. But I mean, it's his first kid. Can you imagine being on a 4-hour flight back to Nashville for your first child? Your fiance is in labor. Oh, that's a nightmare. But yeah, he made it. Keely had their son Jace, but it was really kind of fun to see that side of Tanner, because he's such like a tough guy on the ice, where he was like just freaking out about his fiance being in labor, and you see this like tender side to him, and he really is just an all around. He's a fantastic hockey player, but a great person.
He's a great kid, absolutely. Well, Lyndsay, thanks for the time. You and Crispy make those broadcasts so much fun. Please say hey to him for us, and safe travels to Buffalo.
I will. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Lyndsay Rowley joining us from Bally Sports Nashville Predators broadcast. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.